Hello, chat. How are you doing? Good evening. Sorry I didn't set this sooner. I thought I had set it all up, but we weren't. But we are going to do something tonight. Sarah Boone. I know a couple people already mentioned it, but I think it's worth talking about because it's very interesting to see how she's got counsel, but I think this is going to end up causing a lot of problems going forward. And we're going to talk about that. So, anyways, hold on. Anyways, good evening, guys. My name is Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I am an attorney out in the Cleveland, Ohio area, and obviously do a lot of criminal defense work. Forget what this name makes a lot of sense here. So, thank you all for being here. There's a lot of people here tonight. Chaos is not even 5 seconds in. No, it started like immediately. I thought the judge said. Sure, you're saying I thought that Judge Crane said she couldn't get another. She cannot get another appointed lawyer. She can hire her own attorney, or somebody could agree to represent her for free. It's just the court will not appoint another attorney for her. So she's allowed, initially, she retained counsel. Or in this case, somebody's agreeing to represent her appears pro bono. I don't know if he's going to say it at the end of the day because I have a feeling it's going to cost him a lot of money. But um, that is where we are. That is where we are with this. So he is right now just a free attorney. So the court can't stop anybody from agreeing to represent her. They just will not help her get representation. And they will not agree that he can be paid. So that's where we are with that. I hope that makes sense. Ever since Vices were heard as Boone Tang. Oh. And he says, I hope Sean can make me stop feeling for Sarah again. That's never been my goal for you to feel sorry for her. I just think there are some times where she's gotten kind of done dirty by things that have occurred, and it's not been necessarily what I would like to see happen. I do understand she probably has, abused and pissed away her right to have appointed counsel. That's certainly she has not been very helpful in that regard. But we're going to talk about all this. We're going to talk about all this. And Nico, you got a great question here, and we're going to get to that at the end, okay? We're going to get to those. Real quick, Kat, but not Kat Williams. Gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Kat. And then Nico is a new member. Thank you, Nico. Thank you for the support. Thank you both for your support. And he says, it keeps happening. I'm trying to stop. No, you don't have to feel bad. You're allowed to feel one way or another on these things. That's how this works. We're allowed to take positions. I think it's good. I think it's bad. I like A. I like B. Less filling tastes great. You're allowed to have those positions. And you're also allowed to go, you know what? I'm going to join team A or I'm going to join team B. You're allowed to change. You're never stuck. It's never a suicide position. It's never a suicide pact. You're allowed. So don't ever feel bad about it. Don't ever feel bad. Don't ever. My goal is not to make you feel bad. My goal is let's talk about it. What should we feel? I mean, I might have my feelings, but I don't ever expect you to have them. And I don't ever want you to have the opinion because I have it. Because that's no fun. That's a horrible fucking way to do things. That's a horrible way to be. Oh, well, the fat man on TV says something. Okay. Yeah, the fat man on TV says a lot of things. So you can agree with part of it, disagree with part of it, or none of it. But don't just agree with it because it's something I'm saying here. I never want that. I want people to disagree. I mean, if you disagree, I'm going to talk with you. We'll talk it out. I've never been afraid of dealing with that or shying away from it if there's I'm going to say dissension, but a disagreeing opinion. And if I'm wrong, I'll definitely admit I'm wrong. So don't ever feel bad about having an opinion one way or another on this stuff. Fat man on TV, someone thinks he's great. Well, I assume some people are watching this on their TV. So, actually, I was right. Yeah. Take that, Kiwi Farms. No, let's see here. Where did I just lost it. Damn it. Hold on, chat. But yeah, we're on I titled this Sarah Boone's Mambo number 9. We are on to the ninth attorney. Sarah Boone has finally found her ninth knight in shining armor, and he's gonna try to help. I just don't know what it's gonna do. So, without much ado, let's get into it. Looks as I prefer to disagree with you. It's funny, and you're allowed to do that. Nothing wrong with healthy trolling. It's always good. Foreign native says, "Now I just want to be contrarian." Hey, you're in the right spot. You're at the right spot. Barbie says, "Will the court pay for the psychiatrist?" We're gonna get to all of that because I think that's gonna, yeah, it's gonna be a little interesting how that shakes out. And then James Reed says, "Hey Sean, were you able to make most of your classes at night or take most of my law school classes at night?" Oh my, yeah. Pretty much, pretty much. There are some classes I wasn't able to take, um, but I was lucky. My school had a dedicated night student program, and the biggest thing is getting through the first. They do a mandatory, first year classes, but when you're a part time student, that first year becomes actually 2 years long because I'm going part time, which means my semester's half. I take half of a case. I took half a class load as a daytime student, a full time student. So they might have taken 6 classes a semester. I took 3. So by the end of their first year, they had 12 classes done. It would take me 2 years to get 12 classes done. But yes, they had a dedicated program. I got through that. And then there were some classes they offered. It was the timing. You would learn, oh, they're not going to offer that for another year or two. So you have to bite the bullet. And there were times I take classes that were like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, which when I worked at night, there were times where depending on how late I was at work, I would just go straight to class from work. And when I worked at FedEx, you'd get off at like, I don't know, sometimes like 6, 7 in the morning, and I would just go in the parking lot and sleep. And the first couple of times, I think the cops, there was 1 or 2 times where I got off work and it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I just, I text my wife at the time and I'd be like, "Look, I'm just gonna go. I'm exhausted. The school's 10 minutes away. I'm just gonna go sleep." So I would go there and sleep, and especially I think it was one time because the class I had was set for like Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Thursday morning, it's like 4 or 5, 6 in the morning, and the cops see a car with the windows all fogged up, and they think I'm like a drunk sleeping things off. That happened for like the first 3 weeks, and then they finally left me alone. They realized I was going to school. But yeah, I go to school like sometimes like that. But for the most part, you can generally do like afternoon classes if you're lucky. And then, yeah, most of my stuff was at night, though. I was predominantly a night student. So it was very fortunate. If you're ever looking at a law school, see what kind of programs they have. Some don't really have a dedicated night program, they have classes they offer at night. But if you're trying to get through like the first year, which is the critical year with the mandatory requirements and the requisites, they might not be available, or only once in a while will one be available. So, yeah, but yeah, it was rough to do it that way. Yeah, all 5.5 years. It's like a long tour in Vietnam. Maddie says the only classes you shouldn't take online are the ones that have hands-on assignments. Here's the thing though with them. Fatty Cat says, "Sean, read my super chat." Hold on, let me find it, Fatty. I think I saved it. Hold on here, whiny pants. But having assignments, like having a well, you want it so the assignments are, all classes should be online unless you have to be there. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that. And I don't know if that's just because of my personality or things like that, but I think you need to have online, like you need to have in-person classes. I mean, maybe for people growing up now and learning and having been through COVID, it was different for you, but there's no way I could do an entirely online thing. I could see there's times where it's helpful, but there's something to be said about being stuck in a classroom at times. I think that changes how people learn. Although I do agree, people learn different ways. I'm not saying we can't. We all learn differently. But I do think for me, being stuck in a classroom and then having to go get stuck in a library, I think there was some benefit to that. I think there was a lot of benefit to that. It's the same way that, just working, if I sat here and worked from home all the time, like, I don't know how well I would do at that. I know some people can do that. They never go to an office. They never leave their house. I don't know if I could do that. I think you need to be out and to go do things, and having that ability to go somewhere and do work, I think it's very helpful for me. Steak is great saying you should do a podcast every week with Hayden on civil law, and you could call Fat Bastards Podcast. That'd be funny. The only thing is though, I have a beard, Hayden has a beard, Kurt would have to grow a beard too. Annie Lance says, ask all the COVID kids how well they're doing now. Well, here's the thing. Some people do benefit from that, and I think people can adapt. And if you have kids starting off in person, that may be an acceptable way to teach them. But yes, I do think ultimately in person teaching is the best way to handle stuff at the end of the day. We don't need three beards like a ZZ Top. Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right, guys. So let's get started. Sarah Boone has a new attorney. And how do we know that? Well, the first critical piece of getting yourself into a court case is one of the simplest. If you guys have never seen one of these before, you might think, oh, it's grandiose. I think we've covered these before. But anything, if any of you called me and hired me and said, hey, Sean, I got a case going on, and we talked about it and we agreed, you signed a retainer agreement, all that fun stuff, here's what you get. This is all you get out of it. You get a notice of appearance. And mine's a little different than this, but yes, it would be, James Owens enters his appearance as counsel on behalf of the defendant, Sarah Boone. And generally, I have written down here after that, please forward any and all correspondence and matters on this case to me at this address. And, usually have your address down below, signed James Owens, his bar number. Now, his address, 6478 Highway 90 Suite C, Milton, Florida, 32570. Now, I will say, for working at my time at FedEx, I know where that's roughly at, and I was correct by doing the zip codes. He says talk or text. See, I think that's very inappropriate right there. You just put phone. Just like I do P:, and then it would have been 850-572-2470. You have an email address. You generally leave multiple ways to communicate with the court. I do my fax, although my fax machine, I use eFax because why actually buy a fax machine? That just seems retarded. But I can do faxing through it electronically. It's actually not a bad way to do it. And he says, counsel to Sarah Boone. I don't know why he's not capitalized. That just strikes me a little. So, who is James Owens? We have to go there now. So, James Owens is an attorney in Florida. And this is his website. Very nice website. Text 24/7 per his website. Folks, no, don't do it. Chat, do not touch the cows. Please don't. Don't. This guy's trying to, whatever it is, he's trying to do what he thinks right. And that's all that's all you could say. That's all I'm not gonna criticize him. He's stepping up for her. Good job. So anyways, this is home. This is just, you scroll through everything here. over 35 years as an attorney. He's taken over 100 jury trials to a verdict. Okay. And what does he do? DUI, murders, armed robberies, aggravated assaults, theft or robbery, sex assaults, domestic violence. Okay. But what about him? Let's learn about who he is. What do we know? That must be his wife. He's been practicing since 1986. So he's been doing this longer than just about as long as I've been alive. He was a prosecutor in Pensacola for 3 years. Okay. And then he was elected public defender of the First Judicial Circuit in Florida. Now, in Florida, the public defender for each circuit is an elected position. So there's a district attorney, the state's attorney's office. Okay, well, the public defender is an elected position. He was elected for a 3-year term, it looks like. And then private practice, been doing it for 20 years. And he's been in Escamilla, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa County in Florida. He does it all there. Now, here's the big question for if you don't know. Where the hell is this place? Where the hell is this place? Pretentious that pic is weird? No, it's not. He's allowed to have a picture. That's what he thinks is nice. He wants to show off. And his wife might be important to him. Who really knows? I don't think it's that pretentious. Trust me, there's some pretentious-ass lawyer websites out there. D. Marie says, I bet a lot of people have texted him now. Yes, and they're all fucking assholes. And that includes any of you. If any of you have texted him, you're a fucking asshole. Don't do it. The guy's trying to do his fucking job. Leave him the fuck alone. He's going to have a hard enough time already. He doesn't need people like you dicking it up. And anybody else who's done it, dicking it up. Alyssa's going to have a massive video done when she gets out of jail. I'm sure she will. Yes, and don't tip the cows. No cow tipping, chat. Just Cause says, leave the dude alone. Yep. Clyde texted him. I bet Clyde did. Luke says, I bet your website's way more pretentious. I mean, I don't hope it's not. I hope it's not. So anyway, this guy's been there and done that. He's been a prosecutor before. I mean, granted, it was a long time ago, but still, he's got experience on that side. He ran a public defender's office. And he's been practicing, well over 20 years criminal defense and, overall been now like 38 years as an attorney. That's pretty good. But let's see where he's at, because that's, Milton, Florida is all the way over here. That's his office in Milton. Oh, sorry. Why did it not work like that? Attorney James Owens. There we go. So there we go. There's his office. All right. Getting all the way down. And now here's Tallahassee. If you guys aren't familiar with, this is Florida's capital. And here's the state line for Florida. The Florida-Georgia line. And, if you're sorry they broke up, if you happen to like them. There's Pensacola, the major naval flight base, where naval flight training's done. There's Destin. That's always a destination place. Panama City Beach in Panama City. I remember as a kid, that was where MTV did spring break all the time. So there we go. That's the rough idea of where we're looking at. All the way down to Orlando, Florida. Right down here. This is Orlando, chat. If you've never seen it before, that's where it is. In the middle of the lakes. It's 6 hours and 25 minutes to 6 hours and 4 minutes away. Roughly 6 hours away from where she is. I mean, the only way it could be longer is if Sarah was in like Naples or Fort Myers or all the way over into Miami or Fort Lauderdale. That's the only way it could be longer. Oh. There. Sorry. Didn't mean to grab it. Although, let's see. How long would it take him to get to Miami? If Sarah Boone was in Miami, chat, it would be 9 hours. Holy shit. So instead, we'll just put it back to where it was. There we go, roughly. Why? Leave it alone. 6 hours and 14 minutes. That is awful. Awful, awful, awful. He flies to her location, I read. Okay. Well, still, we're gonna talk about that because that's still a logistics issue. So even if he's flying, let's say he's got a private plane. He's got access to a private plane. Let's say he's a private pilot. You still have to fire up a private plane, and let's say you fly straight there. That's still, your private plane. You got to get it gassed up. You got to land at the airport where you are in Orlando. You're gonna have to land at one of the airports there, get a car, drive to go see her. You're going back and forth to go see her still. That's a very big. It's good marketing, yes. He's probably staying up down there. I don't know, Cody. That's I don't know if he's doing that. I don't think that's been clear. Either way, it's still a lot of hours, it's still a lot of logistics, which means where there's logistics, things will fail, and that's always a problem. You always have to be careful about logistics are always the weak point. That's where things will break down. So he entered his entry of appearance, and after that, on the 30th, the state filed this, and this is their notice of provision of discovery, and that they provided some discovery here. And what do we learn from things here? That the following exhibits were disclosed to James Owens as follows. So as soon as he made his appearance, the prosecutor's office is not waiting to determine whether or not how he's going to do it. They're going to say he's entered his appearance, he's an attorney, we're going to deal with it. Okay, John, just John. Look, John, fucking do it. Shut up. We know you're here. Just do it, please. Don't keep telling us what the fuck you're gonna do. Just do it. Okay? Please. Anyway, they're gonna go through all the things they've disclosed. So far, discovery, pages 1 through 421. That was sent electronically. Okay. Witness lists and the records. I'm surprised there's only like 420 pages they could send. Maybe that's everything. I'm actually surprised. That's a very small amount, especially for something like this. But the following digital evidence is available for copy. And this is the thing. They're gonna make it available for him, but they're not gonna send it to him, it looks like. A CD with the 911 call, a DVD with the interviews, a DVD with the videos from Sarah Boone's cell phone, a DVD from Publix, photos, the suitcase video, the ME photos, the interview of Brian Boone, Sarah Boone interviews, and the 8 gigabytes of the USB/3D scan. I'm assuming they scanned the room and did all stuff there. And they said, please provide the respective media type for disclosure copies upon request. So the way they're doing this, they're saying if you want us to give it to you, give us like a give us a hard drive or give us some means of downloading it, and we'll give it to you. So probably showed up with like a terabyte hard drive and said, put it on here, and they'll take care of that. And they certified that a copy of this has been furnished to James Slovian Owens, and that's up in Milton, Florida, and that is from Dave Cacciatore, the assistant state attorney. Cool. John, I'm not going to ban you. I'm not going to ban you. In fact, I'll do worse. You're now a mod. Anyway, so what are we looking at here? So he's going to get everything. Now, I know the one thing Sarah kept on talking about, like, well, can I get a copy of my phone? Am I going to get my phone? He's probably going to get the Cellbrite thing done of his phone. So he's going to get a copy of it. Now, I know Sarah wanted where she could, like, fuck around with it. I think that's what she wanted. Because, like, I don't know why she wanted to dig through her own phone, but whatever. She wanted it. Now that's been provided to him. You're not a mod. What are you talking about? You don't have a wrench. Trolling the troll. That's always fun. So what do we get from here? And the final thing that got filed in response to all of this is the thing I think we were all waiting to see at some point. A motion to continue. And I see one of you just said he's been seeing her for like 2 days in a row, like 2 days he'll come see her and then he comes back every couple days. And that's probably a way that it works out. But we'll get to that whole relationship and what's going to go on there. Scott Wade said the Cellbrite isn't on the list. I'm assuming, though, that's something he can get, but I don't know why they don't. They definitely hoovered up her phone. So they definitely hoovered it up. I just don't know where it's at. Lithium is a precious metal. Yes, it is. All right. So it's a defense motion for continuance. Now comes through the Florida Rules of Civil Procedure and requests this court grant a continuance of the 3-week trial set to begin October 7th. And he says it's set for trial October 7th. He was just retained and a notice of appearance was filed August 30th. 38 days remain before trial. Defense counsel has met with the defendant 4 times at the jail, the 20th, the 21st, the 26th, and the 27th. And let's just figure this out looking at it. So he saw her last Wednesday and Thursday. And then he saw her this past Monday and Tuesday. During these meetings, the defendant disclosed potential exculpatory evidence on her phone in possession of the Orange County Sheriff's Office. The evidence includes photographs, videotapes, calendars, text messages, notes, and witness names and numbers. This evidence will potentially corroborate her anticipated battered spouse defense, which I think we kind of all heard that's something she's going to be trying to do. But is it going to work? And I don't think it's going to work, but we'll see. We don't know. We don't know for sure. I mean, she's got issues like you got to explain away your interview and all that, but maybe he's going to attack it some way, somehow. The undersigned counsel spoken with numerous potential expert witnesses, covering a range of possible defenses. Counsel is actively vetting several additional experts upon directives from interested parties. What does directives from interested parties mean? Like every Yahoo on the internet? That's makes me a little sus what we're doing here. It is the professional opinion of counsel that the retention of one or more of these experts and the development of the aforementioned said defense is a crucial and necessary component of the defendant receiving full and competent representation and due process under the law. Based upon conversations that have occurred, conversations have occurred with who? Did he talk to prior counsel or is he just talking to Sarah? This is where you kind of run into an issue. Like I said, I've been that guy where you're coming in and you're like the sometimes second attorney, the third attorney. One time I was the fourth attorney that came in. And they'll tell you, oh my God, all my attorneys sucked or this all happened. And then Or you talk to a guy getting ready to do an appeal and you'll hear blah, 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 blah. This all happened. And then you call the trial counsel and say, hey, tell me what happened at trial. And they tell you something, you're like, okay, that makes sense. And then finally, when you get the transcript, it's like, okay, the attorney was telling the truth. It's exactly what happened. Counsels learn that proper diagnosis and development of said defenses requires time, not only for administering appropriate testing, but also the necessity any expert testifying on behalf of the defendant be given adequate time to establish a trusting relationship. Now, that is an issue. You can't just expect Sarah to go talk to any shrink. You have to develop a rapport and then be allowed to apply the analytical tools to the information developed from interviews. This process, as described to the undersigned counsel by renowned and respected experts, cannot be accomplished in the time available for a trial. Well, remember, guys, and we're going to get to this part here. This is the bigger issue. There's also the JAC ministerial hurdles. Yes, you have to secure funding. It's going to take time, and you'll need hearings. Now, hopefully, this guy's going to be able to do video hearings. That'll make things a lot quicker for him because he won't burn time traveling. Because when he's traveling, he's not going to be able to work. He might be able to, I'm assuming he's probably flying his plane. Well, that's not going to help him. But he said, notice of intent to rely on battered spouse syndrome, really any defense you're trying to raise like that, has to be filed 30 days before trial. The notice must be filed by September 7th, 8 days away. And that's the issue. All this stuff here about the JAC and developing a rapport with your client, sure, those are problems. The bigger problem is notice requirements to the state, 30 days. So you don't have time. You don't have time. So what do you do? What do you do? Well, you need more time. You need more time. The defendant is deemed indigent. The defense will need government funds to assist in paying for experts. Defense motions will need to be filed concerning the potential Brady material. Well, so we have some Brady issues, possibly. Interesting. The defendant has the right to be represented by counsel of her choice. Remember, that's not an unlimited thing. It's an unlimited right. The defendant's attempt to solicit private counsel after the court's order, and that's, remember her poster? Defense counsel responded to her advertisement and was retained. Defendant is not trying to delay proceedings or abuse the process. Well, I think Sarah may realize her shit's in trouble now. The defense certifies this motion was made in good faith. And I would believe that. The defense attorney is doing this in good faith. He just says memorandum of law. God, why is this? Double space this crap, homie. Please. I mean, it is nicely done, though. Justified. So any person brought to criminal prosecution in federal court must be afforded the right to assistance of counsel in his defense. Well, remember, though, you are also then afforded that through a corporation, through the Sixth Amendment. The matter of continuance traditionally within the sound discretion of a trial judge. It is not every denial of a request for more time that violates due process. Even if the party fails to offer it evidence, is compelled to defend without counsel. Contrariwise, a myopic, this guy must have borrowed Nick's word-a-day calendar, insists upon expeditiousness, and the justifiable request for delay can render the right to defend a counsel an empty formality. Yes, because remember, the judge keeps on saying, I'm trying to do this expeditiously, I'm trying to do this economically. Those are concerns when you're dealing with a trial. Those are concerns. But they're not the ultimate concerns. That's the issue here. Content Lasagna says, your Discord is set to server-wide to notify all messages by default, Lamau. That's because I don't know how to change that stuff. I'll figure it out, maybe. So the right to counsel not only reaches the trial stage, but it extends the sentencing as well. And further, the Supreme Court has stated that implicit in this right to counsel, the notion of adequate time to prepare a defense. Yes. And this is even going back to 1940, the court mentions that. The prompt disposition of criminal cases is to be commended and encouraged, but in reaching that result, the defendant charged with a crime must not be stripped of his right to have sufficient time to advise counsel and prepare his defense. So therefore, and this is the prayer of relief. Wherefore, the defense would respectfully request the court consider this request and grant the motion to continue. So there you go. Now, is he going to get this? I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know if he's going to get it. Stabby, you're going to have to help me figure that out because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But is he going to grant it? Remember, they've said so far, the judge said no continuances will be granted, even for getting counsel. Now, did he mean that? I think he has to. I think he has to grant this continuance. He took he took the attorneys away from her. She put out looking for an attorney. She's been trying to work her own stuff, and she retained counsel. She retained counsel that's very competent. This guy's traveling like 400 miles to come see her. That's pretty serious. So he's not just a loon. He's not just a Yahoo. I think she's definitely well within her rights to have a continuance at this point. I think he's going to have to do it. If he doesn't, that's a massive, 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 massive problem. And Young brings up a good question here, and this is we'll get to that in 1 second. I just want to double check. Patty, I gotta find your super chat again, dude. I lost it. Yes, Brittany said he's been seeing her 2 days in a row now. So Young says even if the trial goes in October, he can still help Sarah from now on, and that's good, don't you think? Yes, any help is better than no help. And any help, even if he showed up with 1 week to go and he sat there at the table with her, is that better than nothing? Sure. But there's only, the idea is, yes, this is helpful. But imagine if he's there to like build the whole case. He could do far more effect for her at that point. So yes, it is better than nothing, but there are more preferable ways to handle this. How long till this guy packs it in, Nico? And this is something I think is actually something interesting to think about. And I'm not going to say this is Sarah, but like I said, I'll give you a little bit of experience here on dealing with these situations. I'm sure her and Sarah are in a honeymoon phase right now. They're hitting it off. Everything's going well. When I've been appointed to cases with really, really, really unruly and insufferable clients, the way I handle it's a little different. I figure out and I find out from the other attorneys what were the issues, what were the triggering points, what's going on with it. And if it's something I can live without, or it's something I don't really care about, I'll concede that point to them, or I'll be working on something. Okay, fine, you can, here's what I'm looking at. And then they say, well, what about this? And there's times where it depends on what's going on. For example, I dealt with a guy one time. He was a massive sovereign citizen. He was raising a bunch of federal issues. And I said, look, you're trying to raise issues that would apply in a federal case. They don't apply here. And I said, if you ever go to federal court, you can apply all that. But I had explained to him, you're going to have to save that for federal court. Like you might have to sue the federal government. I said, but I can't help you sue the feds. I can only help you here defend this. So can I just work on this part? And it took a little bit of time, but I was very calm about it. I very much laid everything out. I didn't lie to him. I didn't yell at him. I just explained to him what you want to do doesn't work here. You're looking to do something later. And he's like, oh, okay. And he let me work on his defense and he let me work things out for him. That said, there are times where you just end up with a honeymoon phase, then they end up being just as big an asshole to you. And this is where it's about what you can put up with. And yeah, it's about having patience and just trying to look, here's what I'm doing. I'm working for you. I'm trying to help you. And yeah, you keep doing your work. And eventually, a lot of times they realize, I'm trying to help. Sometimes they don't. If it becomes too big of an issue, you notify the court. And you're like, look, I gave it a shot. It's not working. It all depends. It depends on what you can put up with and what you can handle. Because, everybody's different. Everybody can be, everybody's got their breaking point. Everyone's got their breaking point. What? Who the hell just messaged me? Whatever. It's not there. So that's going to be the issue, though. And as I said, guys, it's from my own experience. I don't know how this is going to work. This guy seems like he's very dedicated. He's got a lot of experience. He's run for political office. He's won political office. He appears like he can handle a lot of bullshit. So if Sarah's going to try to talk about all these things, maybe he has a way of explaining to her, like, listen, Sarah, I'm trying to tell you this is not the way. Or, he'll say, fine, we'll look into it. And I've had that issue with clients before. They wouldn't drop it. I said, you know what? Here, give me the information. I'll look into it for you. And I remember the one time the guy's like, yep, here's the address. Here's the information. Go find this person. And I went and showed up, and it was a rundown house and nobody lived there anymore. And I took a picture of it, and I asked the neighbors, the guy ever been here? And they're like, yeah, he used to live here 5 years ago. When he moved away 5 years ago. Went back, talked to my client. I'm like, hey, man, dude doesn't live there anymore. He's gone. I don't know where he's at. Here's his house. And it turns out my client was wrong. He was at a completely different part of town. Didn't even he was completely mistaken about where he was and what was going on. And it helped because then we could actually work on things. But the way he had been acting before, he had been acting like a huge belligerent asshole, and a lot of people said, fuck off. Right or wrong, how that was handled, I took care of it, and I said, fine, here, if this will shut you up, I'll go drive there and take a look for this guy. And I already knew where it was. I roughly knew the idea, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that house is vacant, but I went and checked just so, look, now you understand. Badger Witness says he's pro bono. It seems like to be a legit guy who makes a shit ton in private practice. Yeah, he's doing it on his own. Luke is saying this guy's a bit lost in the public defender sauce given his history of being elected for it. Well, certainly, but he sees somebody who wants to be there and help. Yes, Jail, he's 100% pro bono right now. Annie Land says, but he's known her for a year and been familiar with the case. Wouldn't that affect the odds of a continuance being granted? I mean, those are things where he can say he's been in contact with her, but still that, he has to be careful because if he's been contacting her as an attorney, you shouldn't be contacting represented parties. So you have to be very careful with that. He could open himself up to some liability depending there. Eric says it might be funny if he turns out more batshit than Sarah. That happens. People end up picking attorneys that are just like them, and that is a dangerous, dangerous thing to do. You pick an attorney code because he's just like me. You don't necessarily want that out of an attorney. You want an attorney who's different from you, one way or another, but you don't want an attorney who, is just like you because that means that there's not going to be a lot of pushback. There'll be issues about doing the right thing or making sure it works more. That can, yeah. It's just not the best idea. So I don't think this guy's crazy. Badger says, I mean, this guy's been practicing since I was born. I can't imagine, and I've been since 1986. I can't imagine he doesn't understand what he's getting into. You never know. We just don't know what he's getting into. We don't know. That's the issue. We don't know what the hell's going on. And it's hard to tell. I mean, we'll find out soon enough. Because if things fall apart, yeah, we'll find out. We will find out. Type 1 if you remember Sarah Boone in your gal in your high school. Oh, no, chat. Demon Sprass says, the wire taught me anything. It's that vacants ain't vacant, dude. This one was vacant. I walked up, appeared in the window, and could see into the basement. Like it was stripped out on the inside from a fire. There were no bodies in that house. How long will the continuance be if it granted? Don't know. I could see the judge giving him probably it's going to take more than a month. Because even if JAC immediately, we come back to, remember, Monday's Labor Day, Tuesday morning, let's say all his paperwork is already into the JAC and Jay said, boom, here you go. Here's money for experts. And they cut him checks. He has to get those people set up. Those experts have to get 100% set up. They have to make time to see Sarah, meet with Sarah, work on things with Sarah, then do their expert work, their diagnostics or whatever it is. Then they're going to need time to sit there. And remember, they're doing this in the midst of all their other stuff. Put that work together. Then generate a report. Give that report to counsel. Owens and that expert are going to confer. Then, he's probably going to confer with Sarah about what they want to do. And then they would have to decide, are we going to use this as a defense? And if they do, they give notice. So they need at least 30 days for that. But at that point, they have to give the state expert information, the report of the expert, what they will expect to testify to. But the state, 30 days is kind of short for them. So they might have a stable of experts to get to, but they're going to need time of their own to put together. And then they're going to give their expert. Their expert's going to look at things. Their expert, is going to have to take a look at stuff and determine things. He's going to have to watch the interviews they did with Sarah and all the things that are going on. And then guess what? He's got to put a report together. And then they have to provide that report back to the defense. So that's a lot. That's got to be that's a tough time frame to do all that in 30 days. So I think we're looking at 4 or 5 months at least. If it's granted, which means into 2025. On Texas Times says the new attorney used the word retained. Does that mean pro bono? No. Retained means somebody gave you money or they didn't. It just means you've been hired. They've retained me as their counsel. Well, you can be retained and be pro bono. It's just they've agreed that they want you to hire them. Sarah has said, James, I want you to be my attorney. I want to hire you. I can't pay you. And James says, I agree. I agree to be retained by you. He's retained. He's working under her now and working for her. So there's been an official agreement. I'm sure he gave her a retainer agreement. He probably has a standard retainer agreement. It's just when it talks about the cost, he probably took a pen out and was like $0 pro bono. If we can get appointed fees, so be it. But I doubt he's going to get them. And yeah, go from there. And he hasn't access to discovery until now. That's going to be an issue too. Luke says, what type of clients pick you then? All kinds, Luke, all kinds. I'm Feasing says, then after the months-long continuance, she will force the lawyer to quit. And then, whoops, she needs more time to prepare a case. Just ended. I mean, that could be an issue there. That could be an issue. I don't know if it's very possible. It's very, very possible. I'd like to think it's not going to happen. I think number 9 is going to be Sarah's magic number. Potentially no new experts are required. Maybe he might need more. He might be more. It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like the work Cashman did, getting things ready, that might be helpful. He might look at it and say, I could do a lot with this. He could confer with those people and then get the ball rolling quicker. Or he might look at this and say, no, she didn't do what I want to do. I want to do things differently. It all depends. We don't know yet. We don't know. Excited said, hello, Hella. How are you doing? Guys, hearsay for days with Hella every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. She is doing it this week. Going to be a lot to talk about. But yes, Sarah should have, but Sarah might not have known how to do it. And that becomes an issue. If you don't know how to file a continuance and put the proper things together, well, then you don't know what to do. Now, Sarah does know how to write a motion, but what do you put in that motion? Sometimes you don't know. After 4, it says, I don't see the judge letting him quit. That is a very interesting thing. The judge may stop you from withdrawing on a case, and that does happen sometimes. Typically, if you're going to bail on the eve of trial, judges will not let you leave. Even in civil cases, a lot of times, they're like, no, sorry, counsel, I'm not letting you withdraw. But there, if he tries to withdraw, like, let's say we get going on this, and they get a continuance until, like, I don't know, March. And by Christmas, this guy says, you know what? Fuck it, I'm out. I can't handle it anymore. Yeah, the judge could say you're out. That's enough time to quit and give Sarah time to prepare. But let's say it's a week before trial or 2 weeks before trial. He says, oh my God, I can't do this. And something's happened. Absent, like, my kid is in the hospital and I can't be here, or I've got cancer and I've got 2 weeks to live. There's going to be very few reasons the judge is going to say, okay, go with God, you're clear. It all depends. It all depends. But yes, that is a very good point to bring up, is would he be allowed to quit? Sometimes he will, sometimes he won't. It's going to depend on the timeline. But yes, in this type of situation where he's voluntarily injecting himself into the fray and it appears he knows the totality of the situation, he's probably not going to be allowed to bail. He's going to be put on a lot. He's got a lot more notice than any of the other attorneys. This is a sussy situation, so he might have co-signed for a lot more than he's bargained for. Young is saying he could have explained his plan for the case and she could have said yes or no, right? So maybe this will work out fine. Oh, I'm sure he sat down with her and said, here's my plan, what I would tend to do, and here's how it's going to go. That plan's always going to be open to change, because remember, he just got discovery, so he doesn't fully know everything yet. And I'm sure he told her a lot, but Sarah still might want to do things that he can't do or won't do. We don't know yet. That's always hanging out there. And Helen says hearsay for years tomorrow. Yes, 4 p.m. Eastern time, guys. Arcade Outpost says, is Sarah Boone in the Baldo bunker or what? No. Sarah Boone is a woman down in Orlando, Florida, and she we'll see if we can bring it up here on YouTube real quick. She basically shoved her boyfriend, he was drunk and it was a little guy, into a suitcase and kind of folded him up and basically asphyxiated him as he begged for help. Hold on here, chat. All right, so why is this not working here? Here we go. Suitcase recording. Had to find it. So Sarah locked her boyfriend up in a suitcase. And this is the actual video she took on her phone as he was sitting there. And this is what happened. This is what happened here, chat. So here we go. This happened back in 2020. There's a full-grown man in there struggling to get out.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Sarah.
Stupid.
Sarah.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Sarah. I can't fucking breathe, babe. Seriously.
Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me.
Sarah. Sarah.
As you can tell, she sounds very drunk. And she was. And then she's going to pass out at some point.
Sarah. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
That's on you.
Sarah, I can't breathe.
It's on you.
Sarah.
Real ransom. Might want to get video for it extra. Because I got this.
Sarah.
Real ransom.
Sarah. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
Oh. That's what I feel like when you ching on me.
Sarah. I
Fuck
can't
you.
fucking breathe, Sarah.
Yeah. You should probably shut the fuck up.
Sarah.
So there you go, guys. That's what happened to him. So you're worried about who she is. That's who Sarah is. Has nothing with the Baldo bunker at all, guys. Not everything we do is related to Nick Rekieta. Okay? Not all of it's regarding the Rekieta question. Not everything here is about Nick Rekieta. You know, the trial we're going to show this week of Michael Amiot, a police officer here in Cleveland, has nothing to do with Nick Rekieta. A lot of things we do don't involve Nick. We need to cover the sector on this channel until Kino Casino comes back. No, I can't. I can't do it. I wouldn't be a good. I am not a good PPP and Worski fill-in. Those guys are good at their thing, and they A-log. You know, true A-logging is an art, and they have it down. I am an amateur A-logger, if anything. And I think I'd be a little. That's probably a little stolen valor for me to call myself an amateur A-log. So no, I could never. I can never put that crown on top of my head. It's too heavy for me to hold. Luke said in previous hearings that she was making the record so if need be, she can move to continue. So she knows it's on the table to make. Well, she has said that, but she hasn't done it, and it doesn't sound like she knows necessarily how to do it. The problem for Sarah is you've got to do it now. You can't keep fucking around. Do it now. You can't, like, there's a window. And you're like 30 days out. You're at that fucking window. Like the you know, you're at the, it's like when you pull up to a red light, like the light's yellow and there's the stop bar on the ground. You're pulling up to it quick. You're either committed to going through the yellow light or you have to stop. And if she's going to stop, she's got to make it clear. Is 2.0 going to dress up and carry a Samsonite with two fingers sticking out for Halloween? No, but we might set that up in the yard as like an arm sticking out of a suitcase. I don't know. People will get the joke. And Hella brings up a great point here, and I think so too. Sarah wouldn't have been able to make an argument that artfully and tactfully, so she would have lost it. Comfortably announces I left my legal documents in my suitcase and fell asleep. Oh. Bit off more than he could chew. I don't think so, but it's always a risk. It could happen. We don't really know what's going to happen there. The content lasagna is saying, is the attorney banking or getting off on battered spouse allowed the battered spouse defense and that she's going to collect a big government check one day? Oh, you mean like she's going to sue the government for like false imprisonment or something? No, because she's not going to get it. Because she wasn't falsely imprisoned. You only get those settlements from the government when it's clear that there was clear misconduct and they clearly didn't have the right person. It's very clear Sarah was involved in this guy's death. Now, she may have an affirmative defense, but that's different. So she wouldn't be able to get any money from them out of this. I think that's what you're asking. Yeah, she's not going to get money out of it. Boone is 100% Team Baldo. That'd be a little scary. Yeah, well, he was begging to be let out. Yeah. Yeah, that was a rough thing. That's like a fetish story, yeah. Obscure outdoor destinations. Hey, guys. How are you doing? It says, I don't think she forced Chico into that suitcase. Well, his name's Jorge, but yes, Chico and the man. Something happened where he got in there and she admits to being involved in it. She didn't help and she sealed him up at some point. It's not 100% clear what exactly happened, but she had a role in that and she didn't do anything to help him. And I think that's, regardless, the state's theory is she had a role to play and she didn't help fix it. And that's generally, you don't have a duty to act unless you've caused the situation. And for Sarah, if she put him in there, well, then there is a duty to act at some point. If she had done something where he is in that suitcase in one way or another, and she clearly had a duty to act and she caused him to get in there, or she sealed it or something happened, she has a duty to get up and go save him and open it up. Now, normally there isn't a duty to go do stuff, but sometimes you have it. We just don't know the totality of the situation. I mean, we have an idea roughly. We still haven't seen everything, and we don't know what the prosecutor's ultimate theory is going to be. Now, this then gets to where I know Bronca talked about this a while back about arguments. Yeah, he got it voluntarily. It was a game. There's no arguments about that. Yes. But this then gets into, is this battered spouse syndrome? Maybe. Is this self-defense? You could argue this is like preemptive self-defense, possibly, that she knows they've been drinking and he's going to hurt her and hit her, and she happened to use, restrictive force, and it just happened to kill him, but she was acting in self-defense. I mean, that's a potential way to argue this. That is one, I don't know if Bronca has necessarily said it that way, but it's one I've postulated on here before. We talked about this a while back. That is a very big stretch. That's an out there, very esoteric and very, very weird way of arguing self-defense, but they might be reduced to that. Because if you can argue she did this to protect herself and, he was being dangerous and she was like, okay, I'll play the game with you. And, it's no different than locking him in a closet and just, pretend the closet's airtight. And she's like, well, if I let you out, he's going to kill me. So there's nothing she could do. He dies. It's a way you can do it. I mean, that's an argument I've thought about, how one way you could defend it. Will that work? I don't think so, but you're not left with many options at this point. You're not left with a lot of options in Sarah's situation. I mean, especially when she talked to the police, it ruined a lot. And coming up in this month, if the case doesn't get continued, we're going to go through Sarah's interview with the police, because we'll see, she steps on a lot of rakes and hurts herself pretty bad. The jury's going to love this. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Tomes 23 says she filmed it. Yep, she sat there on the couch filming it, and then before he dies, she passes out for being drunk, and then she wakes up and he's still in the suitcase, dead. Patty says, I wonder why she filmed it. I don't know. She was drunk. She wanted to fuck with them, mock them. Jeremiah says, could you imagine dying like that? No. That'd be a horrible fucking way to go. Amon Reds is saying, was he a midget? I don't think so. He's just a smaller guy. Sarah Boone, I know she's put on a little bit of weight since she's been in jail, eating jail food. They were both pretty, small, limber people. Yeah, he was like 5 foot tall, but Sarah's not exactly that tall either. John Doe says, "Oh my God, I'm getting a panic attack." I'm sorry, but yeah, this is the real world. You very rarely get to see somebody actively participate in a murder, but there you go. Yep, he's begging for anything. Eric says, "The Florida the death penalty." Yes, I don't think. When's the last time Florida did the death penalty? Florida's last execution. Oh, they just did one 2 days ago. Okay. Because he kidnapped a brother and sister that were in college. He raped the sister and murdered the brother. Well, he murdered them both and left them in the woods. So it was a guy named Lauren Cole. So he served 2 life sentences for rape and was got the death penalty for the murder from a 94 case. So good for him. But yeah, Florida does have the death penalty and they do use it, just not as frequently as like Texas. But this wasn't first degree murder, so they didn't charge it that way. It's only second degree murder. She's looking at life, though. Let's see here. Oh, wow, I'm a little behind here. I got to catch up, guys. Oh. She's not facing the death penalty. Yeah, she's not. Never trust a guy named Warren. That's the same. Says, hey, just because he died doesn't mean it's murder. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's not, but I think in this case they're arguing it is. Could this be manslaughter? Sure. And Badger Witness, yes, the suitcase isn't airtight, but it's positional asphyxia. My argument about the closet thing, though, is closets are not airtight, and there's no positional asphyxia if you're standing up. So I tried to turn it into pretend it's an airtight closet, and you locked him in there to protect yourself from him beating you. The problem with that for Sarah is she's beat him. They have a lot of cross domestic violence issues. So it's not just Sarah. And it's not just Jorge, her boyfriend. There's a lot going on there. Garrett says, my brother died in a bivy sack on a climbing trip. Suffocated. That's a nightmare for me. Ooh. Yeah. Johan says, how the fuck can a grown-ass man break the zippers on a suitcase? Okay, Johan, you have to think about this. Think about it kind of like, you ever seen Kill Bill Volume 2? You're stuck in the coffin. Like, where can you move? How can you move? You might not be able to move your hands and arms. Like, you see the guy, he's trying to shake and move around. His hands might be stuck in one spot or another, and it's not like he can probably get his hand. Like, he literally can't move his arms together to work, is probably what killed him. So that's going to be the ultimate issue there. Speak Life is saying, if you get a public defender, are they allowed to hire experts? Yes, they are. The problem is because you don't have any money, they have to petition the courts for money and funding. So generally, yes, you get your right to petition for certain experts, but it's not as easy as if you're paying for them yourself, because you could pay for whatever the hell you want, and you could pay whatever cost you want. When it's in Florida with the JAC, the Judicial Assistance Commission, or the Justice Assistance Commission, they're very restrictive. Like, you've got to be on a list of approved vendors and like people they've dealt with before. And if not, you've got to show extreme cause why that's acceptable. They've got limits on what they pay and don't pay. I've had cases where I've been appointed, and yeah, I've needed experts. I've needed a private investigator. I've needed this. I've needed that. Obviously, the bigger the case, the more likely you're going to get more things. So, for example, if I got appointed to a guy who committed forgery, and he forged a check, and he's looking at it's the lowest level felony, 6 to 12 months in prison. If I petition the court saying, Your Honor, can I get a private eye? Can I get a private investigator on this? The judge is going to look at me and say, go do the fucking work yourself. He's going to laugh at me. But if it's a rape, I can probably get one. If it's a murder, I'm definitely going to get a lot of stuff. It all depends on the severity of the crime, which you're probably going to get and be allowed to ask for. Kimbo says, remember to like and subscribe. Thank you, Kimbo. Yeah, Bob also says suitcases are learned to be tossed around without opening up. Yes. Have you ever seen Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch? Yeah, but I mean, even then, it's like you need room to operate, and there's no room in that suitcase. I'm sure he was stuck in a position where he couldn't move his arms. J-Rock, are you talking? J-Rock's talking about Ukraine. Abel says, do you think luggage industries will make the glow handles like in car trunks? Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Oh, by the way, tonight it's both of you guys sitting on the porch listening. You and me and the tree frogs. Tony's typing. Aw. I hope you and Ron are doing well tonight. Yeah, his cause of death was positional asphyxia. Yeah. It's just like when you hear about guys who go cave, like spelunking, and they get stuck in caves and they die. Yeah, it's positional asphyxiation. It's a bitch. It's a horrible way to go. He was also drunk, and Sarah most likely hit him with a baseball bat. That theoretically could have happened, but I don't think there's any indications in the medical report that he had any blunt force trauma to the head that knocked him out. But it easily it could have happened that way. You just never know. You never know. Classicopes says, why read my super chat? Well, I was going to try to get to those, but like the questions kept rolling in. Kaleidoscope says, why is Nick still a mod on your chat? After he showed up, messages were being deleted. Well, if they were being deleted, YouTube still deletes things. Why was he still? Well, I make all people or content creators or people I try to make sure I see. I mod them so I notice their name. And if he's going to go run around deleting people and fucking with things, well, that says more about him than it does anybody else. And if he does that, then I'll handle it. Charlie for $5 Australian dues says, Brother Sean. Hold on. Me. Brother Sean. Nick is watching at this moment. Upset you won't go out to lunch with him and our wife. Oh, our wives. Your actions are causing him to sin. Repent. Well, there's no repenting if my actions aren't causing someone to sin. And I get it. I understand. I was trying to be funny there, but I was just thinking a little too hard. Thank you. Malcolm X says for $7.99 Australian dues says Sarah Boone's case can easily be resolved if people just acknowledge that it's actually a copyright issue. Yes, that'd be funny. That'd be funny. Neo Dark Matter says fax machines are interesting, especially if they need a copper line. Getting harder to get them. Yeah, fax machines are. It's one of the banes of the legal system. Made fax machines important. And then Fatty Caddy for $5 says, "What do you think makes Nick angrier? The myopia of impotency or the myopia of you declining his call?" Now, I will say, guys, as I did clarify on Twitter, no, he didn't call last night. And no, he didn't ask for me to let him on. I was responding to all you yahoos here in chat when I'm reading the live chat, because I have that streaming over here on the other monitor. But you guys are like, oh, let Nick on. I'm like, no, I'm not. And you guys I was responding to you guys, not to him. So I thought it was only fair to make sure that record was correct and fair. And Stabby says, gifting 10 memberships. Thank you, Stabby. Much appreciated. Johan is saying, sorry, Sean, brain is a bit foggy. Polyurethane brake cleaner and rubbing alcohol is a hell of a drug. Oof. That's a lot of fumes, man. Make sure you're in a ventilated area. That's not good. Be careful. But I'm looking forward to seeing your bench and all that done. Should be neat. Did Barnes has to come on? Nope, just Jim. Just Daddy Jim. And I'm like, sir, save your strength for your next Saturday. The Sweetie Squad needs you. They'll never forgive me if your last ride is with me. Are we going all night? Well, after a little while, we probably will switch over. I'll probably work on the model J-Rock, the Firefly, the Dragonfly, and we'll probably get painted up, at least a base coat of some things. Because we do have a camera set up, and I'm going to try to set that up so we'll have a camera hanging over it that'll be a little different. The door is open. I'm fine, sorta. Yes. Airbrush for the paint? Yes. Wow, Sean first big time steel toe and now Jim. No. Funny though. Are we booing Lando Norris? No, you never boo Lando Norris. Lando Norris is a good dude. And like I said, I want to see McLaren back on top. It can't just be Red Bull and Mercedes going at it. I want to see Ferrari resurgent finally. I want to see McLaren resurgent. I mean, McLaren hasn't been in worth a shit since Lewis Hamilton was there. And that was a long time. That was 1,000,000 years ago. No, I want to see them all competing. I want to see a race where it's fun. Things are going on. Anybody can win it. Is Aaron in jail at the moment? I don't think so. Let me see if we can see this. Let me see if we can see the inmate list for the jail there. Stearns County, inmate information, search current inmates. Here we go. We'll check. Here you go, chat. Let's check this out. Let's see if Aaron is there. Chauvin. Oh, God, not that one, though. Wrong Chauvin. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Nope. He's not in the jail. This is home county, so he's not there. Presumably, he's just laying low. Remember, the sheriff's not going to kick down his fucking door and look for him. They're not going to go look for him, but if he's out and about and they see him, they'll probably stop him. No, I'm not going to do that. And speaking of Aaron, though, yes, he's hiding out in Stonies. I was going to say. Oh, and oh, chat. Oh my God. Yes. Oh. And speaking of Stonies, even though it's Labor Day weekend and it's already Saturday night, we still have a whole weekend ahead of us. And if you want to join us over at Stoney's Bar Grill, 1580 Broadway Street in Rockville, Minnesota, you can join us. They're open till 1 o'clock tonight, chat. They want you to have a cold beer and try out their selection of their menu. Great menu out there, guys. You can find them over at Stoney's Bar and Grill. Remember, guys, it is Labor Day weekend. It's the end of summer. Come on out and have a great time. I know they would appreciate it. Only at Stoney's. Aaron is going to get away with it. Nick is going to see it. He might. Like I said, I think there's some issues, especially when there's exculpatory material in the criminal complaint. It's like a little rough. Space Toast says, I can't sneed. Demon Psychiatrist says it's Sunday here. Luke says it's Father's Day in New Zealand, and I'm stuck of dying of the coof. Oof. That sucks. Please send Baldos. I don't know if those are allowed in New Zealand. I should get Stonies to make the potentially criminal sandwich and served with a side of ricotta sauce. Oh my god, that would be so funny. That would be so funny. Yes. Remember, guys, $2 cans at Stonies. Yes. Stonies says yes, $2 cans tonight. Get yourself toe up on $2 cans. So if I were ever to go deal with the ricotta stuff in real life, yes, I would go to Stonies and do a live stream. I would do, as they say in the radio business, a remote. I would do a remote from Stonies. I think it'd be great. I mean, if we're already doing an away game, why not? J-Rock just gifted 5 subs. Thank you, J-Rock. And then EDW Raptor, thank you for 5 subs as well. Appreciate it. Oh, it's only $2 cans, Thursdays only. Oh, well. They're gonna have good. It's still good. Best price for beer in town. Chat. Rockville, Minnesota. Stonies. Tell Cheeto I sent you. Yeah, you're gonna be toe up from the flow up. All right. What else did you guys send in here? Okay, Fetty Caddy saying, so to clarify, are you saying he cares more about being unable to get his dick hard? I don't know. No comment. D. Marie says, what's up with the Stonies? Aaron Imholt from Steel Toe Morning Show is sponsored by Stonies, and he's always got it like down in the corner. And Aaron always talks about Stonies, and I was just being a smartass the one day, and I did a Stonies ad read, and Aaron's like, oh, he does it better than me. He actually read the website. So I kind of just do it as a joke now. But since Aaron is gone, the mantle of responsibility. Like Aaron, he's like the forerunner. The mantle of responsibility. I'm like Master Chief. I shall accept the mantle of responsibility. And I will do the Stony ad reads till Aaron is able to come back and do them for us. Yes, I'm stepping up. Stony's guerrilla marketing, yes. Content Lasagna says that'll be a couple of years. Possibly. Or Aaron will do hello, you have a collect call from Aaron, an inmate at the Minnesota Correctional Institution. Please press 1 if you want it. And I'll go, boop. And then Aaron can do a Stony's live read over the phone. That'd be great. Young is saying, is Aaron in jail? Where did he go? Aaron's laying low. He's hiding out, I think, probably till till Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm sure his attorney's working out something where he can probably at least show up in court or surrender into court and get in and out one piece. Stepping up to the electric boogaloo, yes. Not all heroes wear capes. I know, and in my case, the cape would be a boat sail, so it's really not a cape. Yes. Come on, folks. Only $200 to meet today's goal. We have a gift certificate from Stonies. What was Aaron charged with? Aaron was charged with revenge pornography, basically. Scott Wade says blue tarps are cheaper. Yeah, that would actually probably be a better way to do it. And just take the grommets and like bungee cord it around me. Yes, is Aaron now punished? Aaron, yes. Johan says, what's my coffee brand? This is not coffee. I don't drink coffee. Well, if I drank this much coffee, I'd be acting like a fucking coke addict. No, drinking water or drinking tea. It all depends on the day. He'll get the Gonzalo Lira treatment in jail. No, don't say that. Don't say that. So it's Blanco laced water. That wouldn't taste very good. Yes, space toast. Yes, hold on. Yes, make this 3-day weekend a 3-way weekend at Stoney's. I was potential moonshine in my cup. No, that would be, yeah. James says, what happened to Chef Red Pill? Oh, he was in Ukraine, and the Ukrainians got mad at him because he was pro-Russian, and then they accused him of being a spy, and then eventually threw him in prison where he died of pneumonia. So, yay. Yep. J-Rock says, I would not eat the food from Stoney's. Well, that's good. You're not there, and nobody invited you. So, guys, that is everything to know about Sarah Boone right now. Oh, we have her inmate notes. I forgot. We have these. We can go over these. These are actually pretty interesting. We do have some inmates to know. Oh, Dagamore is saying, hold on. This is I gotta read this. If you're painting, make sure you don't drink your brush cup. It's not good, at least not with Games Workshop paints. Back in the day when I was used to paint models all the time as a kid, that happened more than once. You sitting there painting and you got you drink, and that was back in the day, 25 years ago. Actually, 25, 30 years ago now. The best paints were enamel paints. Like, that was the only reliable stuff. The acrylic stuff kind of sucked. So, yeah, there are a couple times I'm not paying attention, and I was, we're looking at a magazine to see how they did something, or opening a book and seeing how things were painted or set up or put on a plane or some other thing. And I grab something to drink, and I get a mouthful of paint thinner and enamel paints. Like, yeah. So, yeah, definitely had it happen. Oh, say it's Obscure Destinations. Yes, Obscure Destinations Campfire Blend from Mundo's. Only the best, chat. Do you have a Discord? Is there a link? Stabby, if you put it up there, I'm sure he'll put the link there. He's been putting it out there lately. I still use enamel for marking wrenches. Yeah, it's got a use. It's got a use. Do I use Vallejo? Apparently, they changed up their model and game color paints. I use a little bit of everything because I'm not really a snob or a brand loyal person. Like I said, I really got back into models after 15 years. So I really quit doing modeling when I went to college, building models when I went to college, graduating high school. So right now I've got a lot of Tamiya paints because the store near me has a ton of Tamiya stuff. And, I got some Vallejo stuff. I got a little bit of everything. I'm not really too fired up one way or another about brands. Keopathic says, I had someone use my Dr. Pepper as a spit bottle for their dip. Oof. I've heard that happening too. My mom and dad, when they first were dating, that happened. My mom accidentally grabbed my dad's spitter. Ooh, boy. That was a close call. J-Rock gifted 5 subs. Thank you, J-Rock. So, anyways, let's get to Sarah Boone's stuff. This is just a readout of the activity log, what Sarah Boone's been doing in jail. Thought you guys might think this is interesting, and we'll cover it for a little bit here. Here we go. Iowa lawman saying Vallejo model color paints and AK are the best paints, much better than GW. Yeah, but I've AK in those, at least the shop I go to, like AK stuff is expensive. Like I know there's the guy who does Night Watch, whatever his name is. He's like my friends, like he's got like all that shit. He's got like the fake mud paint and everything. I'm like, I don't have that kind of like. That's a whole level of drug addiction money there too. Speaking of Games Workshop, that getting into miniatures and all that. I remember when I was in high school and I started to look at Warhammer. I was like a freshman in high school, and the guy's like, "Start doing drugs; it's cheaper." And in hindsight, he wasn't joking. So where are you? I've been having great luck with the newer army paints. Joe Moritz says, Tester's glue still a thing? Yeah, it is. Hell yeah, it is. Let's see if I can find it here. I think it's in here. Let me see. Yep, I got it in here. You're talking about this stuff, right? The old they redid the labels, but it's still Testers. Yep, and you can still get, just like Tammy and Cement, you can just still oh yeah, you can still do it. All right, resin 3D print my own models. I don't have a resin printer, so. Anyways, let's get back to Sarah Boone. So these are notice of the court filing is the inmate records from the Orange County Jail of Sarah Boone. And here's the past couple of days. And it's been interesting what Sarah Boone did. So they point out inmate Boone Sarah, and here's our inmate number 2005623 is currently pro se. It is allowed a laptop per scheduled hours of the day. Inmate Boone is currently pro se and is allowed a laptop. Laptop had a low battery and needed to be recharged. An entry was made hours ago by this officer regarding the battery and also inmate Boone requesting a statement form. While collecting the form from Boone, I informed her, and this guy, there must have a problem with her keyboard because the I keeps showing up in places. I informed the laptop is now charged and should be ready to use for the morning. I noticed the time now. It's saying the date observed is 1:43 a.m. I also told her I'll make the day shift officer aware the laptops will be charged once she's finished with it so she can utilize it during the night shift. Inmate Boone then stated, Miss Ford, I will take back the form. I didn't really want to turn it in. It's okay. I will keep it in my documents. Please just let the officers know it has to be charged. I can't do anything without it. So she's like trying to extort them and use the complaint forms as cudgels. It's like, that's not really a good look there. So they talk about on 6 a.m., she refused breakfast. Shada Ford refused breakfast. The other inmates were given an opportunity for shower time. Inmate Boone refused evening shower. Oh, wow. So inmate Boone was issued her inmate tablet, her laptop, 3 USBs, 1 hard drive cord, 1 small size clear for the USB, and 1 medium size clear bag for the hard drive. So she asked, and they're documenting every time they throw it out. And then you can see she's been given a certain amount of time every day. 2 hours later, it was all returned. And they're just documenting it. They're putting it all out there. They're documenting the chain of custody. Now, there's another thing here that one of the officers engaged in discussion with Sarah Boone in their briefing room regarding several matters. They addressed the proper channels for submitting forms, emphasizing they should be directed to the housing officer or the shift supervisor rather than a county legal counsel and the captain for routine needs. She has been incarcerated since 2020, is well acquainted with the established procedures and confirmed her understanding of them. She expressed a desire to have a tablet available through her use during the day. We clarified tablets are accessible to all inmates on a standard schedule, 7 days a week, ensuring reasonable access, but she doesn't get her own. She also requested that writing materials like pens and paper be replenished. And they said the action taken. Request denied at my level and escalated to the appropriate authority, who provided compliance with our policies. Sarah was directed to request her items via inmate request forms to the law library department. They said, note, Sarah demonstrated a willingness to engage in dialogue. However, she consistently paraphrased my statements while introducing details that were neither mentioned nor implied. Surprise. Consequently, I concluded the conversation and dismissed Boone back to her unit due to her patronizing tone and her persistent misrepresentation of my remarks and the information I aimed to communicate. Ultimately, Sarah Boone expressed her disagreement with my stance and decision-making, indicating her intention to file a motion with the judge assigned to her case. Well, gee, Chad, this is kind of like, oh, wow, it's kind of like we expected this. It's not really a surprise. Cale Burke says, how are we getting access to these? These are being filed with the clerk of court, and they're being put on the record. Yes, Sarah conveniently fails to understand things when they don't go her way. She gets awfully stupid at that point, yes. Yes. Manny B says, not like the CEOs aren't assholes, sure. But remember, it's Sarah Boone's not just acting like an asshole to the CEOs at this point. It's to her attorneys as well. So I'm assuming she treats people like shit routinely. I was going to say, everybody's saying, she's saying everybody's an asshole. Well, remember, at that point, it's not generally them, it's you. She's not suicidal, so she can have the court and return it. Yes, but she's also, I think, in an open air dormitory. So there's not really a hanging area at this point. Chewy saying we need a live appearance. Something pure and perfectly clear our minds of this boonishness. We'll do that in a minute. We'll get through this first, and we'll bring up Clyde, and then we'll get over to the modeling setup. And actually, I'll set that up right now. All right. So, hold on here, chat. I need to fix one thing. Oh, wait, I missed that. Where was it? All right, hold on. I'll set that thumbnail. Save this as. All right, chat. So what else was Sarah doing here? Hold on here. All right. So what is all Sarah still getting involved with? So let's keep going here. So the next day, 8 p.m. Notice it's like she's not doing it until the evening. So what's she doing all day? Maybe she's going to the law library. We don't know. We don't know what she's up to. So she, at 8 p.m. on the 20th, she got her stuff out. 9:35, she verbally refused her shower. Well, yeah, she's doing fucking work. Okay. By 10 o'clock, she returned her stuff. Now, this sounds like they did this the next day at 4 o'clock. They did a security check. Her stuff was collected and returned to the control room. The next day, on the 21st, she arrived from her interview. That might have been with her attorney at the time. And they gave her the laptop. Later that night, she gave it back. Razor was issued and returned. The laptop was given to her the next day at 8 a.m. She returned it 8 hours later. They gave it out. They gave it out. They keep on, in and out, in and out, in and out. I'm sure that's a little unique for Sarah now. But in and out, in and out. She keeps on returning it. But you can tell each one of these guys has a different style of writing it out. And yeah, that's what she's been doing here. And there'll be another update probably as we get going, but that's kind of what Sarah's been doing with her stuff. Sullivan says pretty baller laptop with 8 hours of battery. I don't know. I mean, it might be a good one. Who knows really? King of Jerusalem says reading legal docs all night while not showering sounds like law school. Yes, but I don't know how well it's going to go for her. Maybe it'll be different there. And let's see here. Did I miss? So J-Rock gifted 5 more subs. Thank you, J-Rock. And EDW Raptor gifted 10 more. Doing your part to keep this chat gray-free. And remember, Grays, keep moving. This is a green neighborhood. You see what this means? It means not welcome. Actually, that would have been better if I had a green shirt on. But yes. Oh, chat. I don't know what I'm going to do with you guys sometimes. All right, so that is it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Sarah. I'm not sure the judge is going to grant the motion to continue. I hope he does. But it doesn't mean he's going to. And that's kind of the scary part. That's kind of the scary part about this. And before we go, I do want to remind you guys, I know I haven't been doing it. I haven't done it in a little while, and I feel I was slipping on it. In addition to things out there, don't forget to stop by Dragon's Treasure out there for your promo code 10% off. Use the promo code criminal. Dragon's Treasure, a haven for tea and anime lovers. All kinds of tea out there. The good kind of tea, the tea you can drink, not the tea you can gossip over. But Dragon's Treasure tea, 10% off promo code. Use criminal. Don't use Mindset or any of the other guys. Their promo codes suck. Mine's a good promo code, guys. So just keep that in mind when you're doing things. My folders are deep like Kino Casinos. Not really. Dragon's Treasure rocks. Yeah. Do they have 26 grams of decorative tea? I'm sure if you wanted 26 grams of decorative tea, he could sell it to you like that. If you wanted to. Yes, my 10% off is better. It's perfect for cope sipping. Yes, it is. You can sip and cope, and then you can sit there and be warm and see. That'll be great. And that way, it's not the molding keeping you warm. It's just this tea is keeping you warm. Chugi saying, are inmate behavior notes normally filed with the courts like this? I've never seen anything like it. No, but that's because, remember, Sarah keeps on saying, like, stuff is happening, not happening. Well, now we've got notes to establish what's happening and not happening. The jail is just covering its ass. So, yeah. Patty's saying, how much did you sleep on average when you were in law school? I mean, I slept in normal amounts. Since I worked thirds, I generally would sleep in the, you get home and then you'd sleep and then you wake up in the afternoon and get ready. Like my day just started later than everybody. And I would eventually go to class at night, and classes started usually like 5 or 6. And then, you go till like, there'd be like a 5 or 6 class. And then there'd be a class that starts at like, generally like right at 7 or right at 8, depending on the times. And it would go till like 9 or 10. And then I'd stay there And if I could go in early and get extra hours, I would go in and get them. Or if I had to wait till my shift started like at 11:30, I'd wait till then and I'd, sit at the school because they kept the rooms open. The lights were always on in the rooms, like at least till late till the cleaning crews came in, and I'd sit there and do work, or I'd sit there and fuck around, or I'd sit there and eat, eat my dinner or something like that, or my lunch, and then I go in. So I got normal sleep. It's just there were times where like my sleep was broken up. I'd sleep like 3-4 hours here, and then I'd sleep like 3-4 hours later. Yeah, I mean, I learned the ability to go to sleep anywhere, which is kind of nice. The jail is lying. They might be. They might be. Yeah, the promo code no baldo. No, guys, use the promo code criminal. Dragon's Treasure Tea is very good. Run by the tea man. He's a nice guy. Good guy. Dominating the tea game out there. While everybody else is focused on coffee, the tea man has been running he's been running the tea game. He runs that tea game now. He owns the tea game. So something to think about. Give him the props. Promo code cover. Oh my god. That would be hilarious. That's a shame. Says I had a 6-week stretch in 2L where I legitimately slept 2 hours a night. I mean, yes, there are times where things like that happen. I remember one summer, I did an internship, and I was working. I did an internship for credits. Well, I wasn't able to do it for credits, so I did work study on it. And I worked full time at night, and I'm working like a 40-hour week. That was really fucking rough. But I was able to work it out with my night job. I was working out at FedEx. I'm like, can I get off every day by like 5? So I had a chance to like shower and sleep and wake up and walk into work at like 9, work till 5, go home, do everything, and then go back to work at 11. Yeah, I mean, that was a really rough fucking summer, but it's totally worth it. I got a lot of experience out of it. But that was summertime. That was summer stuff. But yeah, you had a 6-week stretch where you legitimately slept 2 hours a night. Fucking A. Fucking A. Yeah. King of Jerusalem says 2L was the works. No, it's like I said, it's nice to have another fellow attorney here. What do you practice, sir? Good sir. Eric Fulham says the promo code is actually you're lying bullshit fuck off. Yes. You're bullshit lying fuck off. Yes, you're absolutely bullshit lying fuck off. That's a long promo code. Yes. I sat there and ate. What a surprise. I know, Chad. And Chugi's saying, go met Sarah Boone. Her lawyer doesn't need a continuance in order to rep her properly. It isn't fair to him or her. Yeah, I would like to agree, but I don't know if the judge is going to grant it. He could say, fuck off, we're not doing it. And Captain says, how did Sarah get the attorney? Through her ad, begging for help. Let's see here. Where I'm a law clerk. Oh, well, lucky you. You just started this journey. Well, welcome. Hopefully you're hanging there, man. Hang in there. You thought so too. You got a concussion. Potato Biden says, why do lawyers in politics allow charities to manufacture chaos? Because they need chaos to run for office. There has to be a bad man. There has to be, some of those guys thrive in chaos and creating it. No, the promo code of wives to T-Max 15%. Oh, wow. But yes, guys, really though, the promo code is criminal. Promo code's criminal gives you 10% off. If you guys are buying tea, T-Man does great teas. He has a lot of selections. He'll sell it loose. He can sell it. He sells it in bags. He does it all. He just won't come and steep the bags for you. You have to pay extra for that. Oh, why do they have tax deduction charities? Because it's all a scam. It's all a scam. So, guys, that is it for us. We are going to take a quick break, and we are. The logo over your face was kind of funny. Well, let's put the logo up, put it there. We got to put it somewhere. Will he sell you a kilo brick of tea? I bet if you asked T-Man if he would sell you a kilo of tea, he would. And if you asked him to put it in like a little thing and tape it up in a white, thing and make it look like it was cocaine and have duct tape all over it, I'm sure he would if you asked him. Ellie Fan says, did Boone get another lawyer? Yes. A lawyer has agreed to represent her pro bono. So it's not appointed. She has retained counsel. Oh, hold on here. Clyde. Sorry, Chugi. Yep. Hold on. Clyde. Come here, Bubba. I hear the click-clacks. Come here. Clyde. Come on. Buddy. Come here. Come on. It's okay. Come here. Come on. You're okay. I know you just woke up. You were sleeping, weren't you? Come on, Clyde. Come on. He just told you guys to fuck off. Sorry. We'll try again the model stream. You guys heard him click-clack around. He's alive. Oh. Kimbo don't work for free, chat. Donate. Well, we'll save that for the modeling stream, guys. We're going to start the model stream in a couple minutes. And we are going to see you guys in the meantime. So I'm going to direct you guys over there. But just remember, chat. Just remember. I mean, it's hard with Sarah here, but it still remains true. And that's how you know I'm sticking to the principles here. Just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Even Sarah Boone, she's still not guilty. I mean, we're going to try our best, chat. I think she's got a chance. And also, by the way, holy cow, we just passed 23,000 subscribers. To each one of you out there who has done that and helped, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys joining in on that. It's been a long journey, but it's been a fun journey. And I'm going to redirect you guys over to the modeling stream right now. Why is this not working? That was weird. Why didn't that? I couldn't find it. Hold on, chat. This is really fucking weird here. Why is this fighting me? Why is this fighting me? Why are you fighting me, man? This is weird. All right. Well, we'll work on that in a minute here. Hold on, chat. Why is this? Why is this? God damn it. There we go. I don't know why it didn't show up. Anyways, I'm going to send you guys over there. Take care, everybody. And yes, remember, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. All right, chat. I'll see you guys shortly. Be nice to each other in the meantime.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy?